Okay, we're here to talk about profit. Of course we are. It's called the Salon Profit Formula. You know, we all want our businesses to be more profitable, of course we do. But actually, the key question is why? Now, I know that sounds crazy. Why do we want to be profitable? Of course we all want to be profitable. But actually, it's the most important question. Ultimately, we all want to be successful, but success means different things to different people, of course. You know, I have salon owners that come to me and say, Alan, get me away from the chair. You know, I'm doing all the clients, I'm doing all the work. And then another salon owner will say to me, no, don't do that. I love being behind the chair. Or what about the material things that we all like, whether it's the house, the car, the boat, you know, whatever it is. We're entitled to those things, of course we are. Maybe it's your business. Do you want your business to grow? Do you want 5, 10, 15, 20 salons? Or maybe you say, no, I just want one really great salon. Do you want an academy? Do you want to be an industry icon standing on platforms around the world? It doesn't make any difference. It's what you want. That's ultimately what success is. However, there's another key question we've got to ask though, and that's why did you start your business in the first place? Most people, when I ask that question, give me two answers: freedom and financial independence. And how's that going for you then? You see, I ask a question all the time in life. I ask it of myself, I ask it of my business, I ask it of my customers, and now I'm asking it of you. It's a very simple question. Is it working? If the answer to that is, Alan, absolutely yes. I've got a great business, it's very profitable, it's giving me an awesome life. Fab. But if the answer is anything less than that, then surely we've got to start asking what needs to change. What needs to change to give you a more profitable business, to give you the success that you want? That's what we're here for. I'm Alan Austin Smith, co-founder of the fantastic Hairdresser company, along with my business partner, Carolyn Field. And welcome to our headquarters here in West London. It's an amazing place to work. We love it here. Isn't it beautiful? Everything you see from the fantastic Hairdresser, our products, our books, our online programs, our videos like this, obviously our live courses, it all comes out of here. It's such a great creative hub for us. You know, we're working alongside amazing companies like Disney and Paramount Studios and the Discovery Channel. You know, I love working here. We all do. We get so much out of it. I just hope you get the opportunity to experience the passion and energy that we get from this place. The fantastic Hairdresser is 25 years old this year, but both Carolyn and I go way back further than that, because we both started in the salon industry as young hairdressers when we were 16 years old. We actually met at Sassoon's when we were juniors. So we both worked at Sassoon's in Bond Street, and then after a period of time we moved on to different jobs, and I ended up at L'Oreal. I was with L'Oreal for 8 years, and towards the end of that period was very involved in the whole business development side of things. And that's where things really started to change for me. You see, I often explain to people that the first part of my career, I was passionate about what we do in this business. Today, I'm passionate about what we're not doing, about the things we need to change. I love this business. I've been passionate about it from the age of 16 and I'm still here. But there's so much that needs to change so that we can all get so much more success from it. So, I left L'Oreal, and along with Carolyn, we set up the fantastic Hairdresser company. And the idea, quite simply, was to provide support to every level of the industry. Whether you're a trainee or assistant, stylist, manager, educator, salon owner, it doesn't matter. The fantastic Hairdresser's got something for everybody. Over the 25 years, we've worked with single salons in the high street right the way through to global brands. Names like Trevor Sorbie, Charles Worthington, Hobb, Tony and Guy, Charlie Miller. You know, there's so many. But you know what? It doesn't matter what type of business you have or what type of salon you have. We all share the same needs. We want and need our businesses to be successful. We need them to be profitable. Now, some of you, of course, know this, but there'll be people watching this that don't really know what the Fantastic Hairdresser is all about. So let me explain. It starts with the word fantastic. Now, you can use whatever word you like. Brilliant, amazing, incredible, great, I don't care. we use the word fantastic, but quite simply, what we're saying is we're drawing the distinction between the difference of good and fantastic. Are you a good hairdresser or a fantastic one? But what is that difference? Of course we all want to be fantastic, better than good. But what actually makes the difference? Well, it's something that I call the 50% rule. It's very simple. I believe that 50% of what makes a fantastic hairdresser has got nothing to do with a pair of scissors or a tint brush. Now don't get me wrong, 50% has. We've got to do that part of the job really well. But the 50% that I'm talking about is what I call the other stuff. The way we communicate, our confidence, our self-esteem, our self-motivation, all of those things. And of course, amazing wow customer service, or customer delight as I call it. And then of course, in terms of your business, that other stuff is about the way you're running the business, marketing yourself, and of course, are you profitable? That philosophy has been shared with over 100,000 hairdressers over the last 25 years in seminars and programs all around the world. But things really changed for us 10 years ago when I wrote the Fantastic Hairdresser book. It's since become the best-selling book in the salon industry worldwide, and it's allowed us to spread the Fantastic Hairdresser message literally all around the globe. We have ambassadors in America, in Australia, in Croatia, in Ireland, and I know that there's people from all of those countries and more watching these videos now. So what's all that got to do with the Salon profit formula? Well, all of that work that I've been doing over the last 25 years, all of those salons, all of those hairdressers I've been working with, I've learned so much. I listen, I learn, and I draw all that information in, and I start to see what is working. All of that information I've been narrowing down tighter and tighter and tighter to reach this moment. And that is to get all of that content, all of that information into a very simple, very straightforward formula that any salon, at whatever size you are, can implement, and I promise you, I guarantee it will make a difference. There are so many success stories of people using the Salon profit formula, but here's a couple that I can share with you now. One lady who was literally in tears. She'd actually been on a course with me, and on that course started to believe that her business wasn't viable because it was the first time she was really beginning to understand it as a business. However, by the end of the course, when we sat down and I took her through step by step the key elements of the formula, and then she implemented them, that was just 2 years ago. Her business today is unrecognizable from what it was 2 years ago. The sales she's achieving, and most importantly, the profit she's achieving. Now here's another lovely story, one of my favorites. Now this young lady, I started working with quite a few years ago, and she won't mind me saying that her passion, her energy, and her enthusiasm was unstoppable if we could just focus it on the key to her business, and that was making some profit. When we did that and we shifted that focus, and she started to put into play the things that I'm going to teach you over the next few videos, not only did she end up with a very successful, very profitable business, but an award-winning business. In fact, last year she won the Fantastic Salon Award. Over these 3 videos, I'm going to take you through the key elements of the Salon profit formula that you can implement in your business at whatever level. However, before we start that, there is one more thing I want to share with you. It's an astonishing fact, something that amazes me, but it is true, unfortunately. 80% of the salon industry is breaking even or worse. I know that from all the businesses that I work closely with. We've got to change that. We've got to do something about that. And that's what the Salon profit formula is all about. Come on, let's do it. Okay, let's start with that comment that I just made. In my opinion, in my experience, 80% of salons out there are breaking even or worse. That's crazy. So where am I getting that from? Well, first of all, remember, I do spend most of my life intimately looking at salon businesses. So that's not just a thing I've dreamt up. I actually see the stats, I see the information. But how can that be? Surely that would mean the industry is going bust, it's going bankrupt. No, what's happening is salon owners, you in many cases, are effectively supporting the business. You see, your accountant may have told you made profit. You may have paid tax on that profit. But what salon owners say to me all the time is, well, apparently I've made profit, but I don't know where it is. Well, that for me is the key. Where is it? You see, what we're talking about in many cases is your drawings, your salary. You see, if you're a sole trader or a partnership, your salary doesn't go into the profit and loss sheet. So it actually sits out separately. So the profit and loss sheet will show you made a profit. But if you just go a few pages further on, what you'll see is that profit is your drawings. And you pay tax on that, of course, it's your wages. But there's nothing left. Now, to me, that's break even. You know, unless you're, if you just pop in on a Friday and say, hi guys, how are we? Has anybody got a little bag of money for me? And that's your only involvement in the business. Well then, yeah, obviously any salary you take is pure profit. But I'm pretty sure that's not the case. You guys are working hard, whether it's behind the chair or on the business, marketing, everything. And so you're working and you're being paid a salary for that. But it's only because of the law, the way things are, that salary doesn't show in your profit and loss sheet. But it's still got to go as an expense. So when you actually put it into the P&L, well, you're breaking even. You didn't make a profit unless there's something left. Now, the other thing, by the way, you may be a limited company. If you're a limited company, that's slightly different. Your salary now actually is in the profit and loss sheet. However, your accountant is probably paying you dividend, paying you the minimum within the P&L, and then the rest of it being topped up by dividend. Well, effectively, that's the same. The majority of your salary is still not showing in the P&L. So there's my first point. I believe that most salons that I speak to and deal with actually are breaking even because the profit that they're showing is actually the salary. But I said breaking even or worse. Well, how can that be? Then you're going bust. This is where you're probably subsidizing the business. You see, if I asked you to come and work for me and do exactly what you do to run your business, what sort of salary would you want? My guess is in many cases more than you're paying yourself now. So actually what you're doing is you're subsidizing. You're not paying yourself the salary you should be, and so therefore you're subsidizing it. If your drawings or salary is very close to your profit figure, then you're running your business by the bank balance, and that is you're paying yourself what you're able to pay yourself, which is the way you're staying within your bank balance or your overdraft. Effectively, you're breaking even, and if you actually paid yourself the salary you should be earning, and I don't mean silly daft salary, but if you paid yourself the salary you should be earning, you're then possibly actually making a loss. The first shift we have to make is focus. It's all about focus. Are you focusing on profit or are you focusing on sales? Too many times we're focusing on sales and what comes in. Very rarely does a salon owner say to me, I made this much money last week. You can all tell me what you took, but how much did you make? That's the key. Look, when you really understand what your business is, then you'll understand why we've got to be so focused on profit. You see, the way business works is very simple. Money comes in, and it goes out again. You bring money in, doing people's hair. You then spend that money on wages, salary, rent, rates, electric, stock, etc. Why do you do that? Well, basically so you can bring some more money in again next week. And then you spend it, and then more comes in, and then you spend it, and so on and so on and so on. Somewhere in that process, something's got to pop out to the side, and that's profit. Because if you're not, what you're doing quite simply is just going through the process. I want to draw the distinction between process and profit. In other words, what's the process you go through in order to make profit? You see, your profit is your business. Your process is exactly that, a process. Imagine if you were making traffic cones and that was your business. You made traffic cones and you sold traffic cones. My guess is you're probably not that passionate about traffic cones. You're not looking up pictures and images of different types. You don't get Traffic Cone International every week. You know, it's effectively simply a process. You understand that process. Now, why would you go through that process? Why would you go through the process of making, manufacturing and distributing traffic cones? There's only one reason: to make profit, to make money. And that's where creative industries so often get it wrong. You see, we're really passionate about our process. We love it. And actually, because of that, we forget why we're doing it sometimes, which is the profit. What comes in, what goes out is your process. What's left is your business. And that's why we've got to be more focused on profit. I'm a great believer in where you put your focus is where you get your results. Let me tell you a story about a guy that I was working with doing some business consultancy with. He's done a lot of work with us over the years, and I was doing one-on-one business coaching with him. And his problem was, he said to me, "Alan, my business is growing, we're getting more customers, we're getting more sales, but there's still not enough profit." And I said, "Okay, let's have a look at the numbers." And he very proudly said, "No, I knew you were going to want to look at all the numbers, I've got them all here." He said, "You see, the thing is, I do know my numbers. I'm really on the button with my numbers. I know exactly what I have to take a week to break even." Think about that. I know exactly what I have to take every week to break even. That's where his focus is. And what result is he getting? Break even. Where you put your focus is where you get your results. So sometimes it's as simple as shifting your focus to profit. Now, what the Salon Profit Formula does is it will actually give you this formula that starts by actually targeting profit. So your sales target comes from you deciding how much profit you want. Let's forget about percentages. Why does everybody focus on percentages? You know, it's a corporate thing. It's come down from all the learning we've learned from the big product companies and so on. It's irrelevant to the average small business. 10%, 15%. What does that mean? And it only means something depending on the turnover you're taking. No, seriously. This is what I've fine-tuned with the Salon Profit Formula. It's little things like this that really start to make the difference. Let's start with a number. How much profit do you actually want? Give me a number. Write it down now. Seriously, write it down. And by the way, don't fret too much, because what I was going to show you over the next few videos is how to work out whether that's the right number, the correct number. Sometimes the salon owners, "I don't know." I said, "Look, just give me a number." And they go, "I don't know." I said, "Well, 50 grand, 100 grand, 25, give me a number." And they go, 50? Fine, write it down. And what I can then do with the Salon Profit Formula is start to say, what would you have to take? How much do you have to take to make 50,000? That's the second part of the Salon Profit Formula. It starts with a process of identifying how much you want, and then we move to how much you have to take to achieve what you want. Now, I know that sounds simple, but actually very few people are doing it. All right, let's just go back for a second then to the first part of the formula, because there's one other thing you need to add in. What do you want? Why do you want it? Because it's the why that will actually give you the drive, the determination, the persistence, the discipline to keep going. You see, when you've got a why backing up what you want, then you'll do it. If it's a powerful why. How much do you want? Why do you want it? And by the way, there's no right and wrongs. It's what you want, remember. What success means to you. All right. Step one then of the formula. At this stage, we're going to go into it in more detail, of course. But at this stage, step one, quite simply, is how much do you want? Write that down now if you haven't. Just make a decision. I want this much. All right. Now start to think about why you want it. You know, if your business was that profitable, seriously, ask yourself that question. If my business was consistently making that profit, how would that feel? Okay, so now you know how much you want. and you are starting to think about why you want it, and the why is exciting you, it's inspiring you, it's making you passionate about achieving this. The second part of the formula is, how do we now work out how much I need to take per year and then break it down per week to achieve that profit target? Now, as I said, I know this sounds simple, but actually very few people do it. You see, we set targets based on sales, based on last year. I see it all the time. People sometimes say to me, "Oh, Alan," I say, "How was Christmas?" "Oh, up on last year." And just to make them think, I go, "Oh no, really? What happened? What was the problem?" And they go, No, it was up. We were up." I said, "No, I heard. Never mind." They said, "What are you trying to tell me?" I'm trying to say to you, it's irrelevant. When you understand that your business is the profit, then let me ask you a question. Could you be up on last year and make less profit? In fact, could you be down on last year and make more profit? Your business is the profit. So why are we so intent on measuring our sales, whether we're up or down on last year? It's completely irrelevant. Of course your sales matter, but it's the profit that we've got to be focusing on. So when you're setting goals, sales goals, that are based on just what you did last year or what you're doing now, I'd like to do a bit more, you might achieve that because that's where you're putting your focus, but then still not achieve the profit you want. When you do it the other way around, you work backwards, you say, this is how much profit I want, therefore these are the sales I need to make. All right, now, unfortunately, it's not as easy as saying, I want 50,000 profit, so therefore I've got to do an extra 50,000. Another mistake that I see. You see, the salon industry has a lot of what's called variable costs, wages and stock in particular. They're very high. They're much higher than a lot of other businesses. And that impacts massively on the opportunity to be profitable. Okay, for example, and by the way, these aren't benchmark figures, I'm just doing this for simplicity. Let's say your wages were 50% and your stock was 10%. That's 60% variable costs. What that means is that for every pound, dollar or euro that comes into your business, 60 pence, 60 cents is going straight back out again. And that means you've only got the 40 to play with. So that's why you can't just add 50 on. Now I'm going to give you one of my sneaky secrets. Write a bill to yourself. Literally, write out a bill, an invoice to you for your profit for this year, and put it in as an expense. I don't mean legally, there's nothing illegal going on here. Your bookkeeper might freak out and say, no, this is just a game I'm playing for myself. But actually write out a bill, an invoice, and put it into your business and say, that's got to be paid at the end of the year. And therefore, my break even is this, which means I need to lift this much money every week to pay my bills. Do that, and there should be money at the end of the day to pay the profit you want. Okay, so let's go through now the Salon profit formula. There are 5 steps. Right, the first, you've got to decide how much profit you want. Make that decision. How much do you want and why do you want it? Then you've got to work out how to get that. And that's very simple, because what we will do, I will introduce this on the next video. I will show you how the profit calculator works. It's based on something that I call the one piece of paper. It's something I'm really proud of. Now, of course, it started its life as a piece of paper. I've been doing this a long time. Now, I'm going to show you how I've turned it into a calculator that you can use really simply online. And what you're going to do is you're going to basically put in, I want 50,000. Then you're going to put in a couple of other numbers that you need to have. And then it's going to straight away tell you that's how much you need to take. Right, now, then we break it down. We break it down to your weekly sales, break it down to how many clients you need, what your average bill needs to be, and it goes down and down and down. And ultimately we end up with an hourly rate. And that hourly rate will say that as long as you're getting that much an hour, you will start to achieve your profit. What that gives you is the opportunity to start looking at pricing, at staffing levels, at opening hours, at budgets, at targets, at individual targets for stylists. You actually get everything you need with the Salon profit formula to run your business profitably, to make all the right decisions with the right information rather than just sticking a finger in the air and hoping. You get the opportunity with this to really make great decisions about your business that will lead you towards profit. Okay, so when you've finished the first step of the Salon profit formula, you know how much profit you want, you know why you want it, you know how much you've got to take annually and by week, and then we're going to break it down even further than that into something that I call the fantastic Salon standard. And with that, we're going to literally end up by saying we need to do this many clients a week at this average bill. And you've got a really tight measurement. You know, frankly, there's only a few things you need to be measuring. You don't need all that information. You need it tucked away in the box underneath the desk. That's called a computer. But you don't need to be looking at it every day. But there are a few numbers that we're going to go through that you must be looking at every single day, every single week, to keep your focus on achieving profit. So that's just the first step. The second step is now we've got to start looking at what needs to change to achieve it. So we now know what we've got to do, but the odds are it's going to be quite different to what you're achieving now. This is where we're going to talk about something that I call the Salon drivers. 3 numbers that you've got to be really on top of in your business, because it's effectively how you will achieve the sales to achieve the profit you want. The Salon drivers, the 3 of them, very simple. Your client count, your average bill, and your visit frequency. Those 3 numbers literally drive your business. And when you know them and you know what they are, and then more importantly, you know what they need to be to achieve your target as to what needs to change to achieve the goals. The third step is how do you keep focus? Well, that's measuring every day, every week, every month. You're absolutely on the button, with benchmarks and with budgets. Okay, as we move through this process, I know what some of you are thinking. For example, some people say to me when we start talking about profit and figures and numbers, "Oh, Alan, that's not me. I'm not that type of person. I'm more of a creative person. I don't do numbers. I've got a bookkeeper that does all that." Well, you know what? It's great to delegate that stuff to people, and you should do, but you still need to know. And you know what? It's not about maths. Listen, if my maths teacher knew that I was teaching finance to businesses, he'd turn in his grave, which I guess he must be in because he was pretty close when he was my teacher. Look, that's not what this is about. This is about simply understanding how to manage your business to achieve that profit. It's not about maths, it's not about numbers, but when you know the formula, then it works. Which, by the way, brings me to the next thing that I hear all the time. "Oh, Alan, I've tried it, I've done all this stuff before," or whatever. But you know what, the bit they always leave out? "I've tried it, I've done it before, but I didn't keep it going." The key is consistency. This stuff works. It works for businesses of any level, of any size, anywhere in the world. But you have to do it, and you have to do it consistently. And that's why I've created the Salon Profit Formula, because it's a formula, and if you implement it into your business 100%, it works. Look, of course business has changed. The world is changing all the time, but that shouldn't stop you from changing. But what we've got to do is make sure it's simple, it's straightforward, easy to implement, and then of course you can change. Yes, you're right. The world is changing, which is exactly why we've got to change, take control, and move our businesses forward to the next level to achieve the success that we want. So let's just summarize for a second. We've got 3 of the 5 steps. Step 1, how much do I want? How much do I need to take to get it? Step 2, what needs to change to enable me to get it? Step 3, how do I measure how I'm doing and stay focused? That's step 3. Step 4, well, this is a key one. It's the most critical factor in your business. In fact, I'm going to ask you that question now. Stop, pause for a moment. If I only gave you one option, what is the most critical factor in your business? Think about it for a moment. Okay, have you got something? Well then, let me tell you what it is. Your team. You see, some of you might have been thinking about profit because we're watching this. You might have been thinking about your customers, your clients, great customer service, friendly atmosphere, great consistency. All of those things are important, but where do they come from? They come from the team. The team is the critical factor. You know, up until we get to step 4, that's all fab. It's all written down on a piece of paper. It all looks wonderful on your iPad. But how are we going to do it? We've now got to engage the team and get the commitment and motivation and passion that is needed to achieve what those numbers are telling you. And that's the 4th level of the Salon profit formula. And then finally, the 5th step, quite simply, make it happen. You see, let's say the Salon profit formula tells you you need to be doing an extra 30 clients a week. Well, we've got to market the business now. We've got to focus it away, but with a very clear focus and target. You see, people are just doing marketing. So someone says to me, we did this great marketing campaign, we got 100 new clients. And I say, well, how many did you need? Because if you needed 100, fab. If you needed 300, well, it hasn't worked for you. You see, once again, we're out there doing all these things, but without the right information. You see, in my experience, what I see most of the time, quite simply, is salons doing everything right. You know, you're doing great customer service, your product's good, in other words, your hair that you're providing, you've got a good team, you've got a nice position, you spent a lot of money on the salon, got all those things. But sometimes we've got all the right ingredients, but the mix is wrong. And when you get the mix right, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill. That's what we need to change. But if you don't know where you're going in the first place, how can you then do anything to get there? So from the information that we have from the first 3 steps, we now know what we need the team to be committed to. You know, a lady once said to me, Alan, my team just aren't committed to what I'm trying to do here. And I said to her, what are you trying to do here? She looked at me and said, I don't know. Look, the whole process that we're creating here is to give you focus, but on solid numbers to achieve what you want to achieve. That's what the first 3 steps do. Step 4 now means we actually have something to get the team committed to. And step 5 means we have a real focus on a marketing strategy to know exactly what we're trying to achieve. That's what the Salon profit formula is. Very, very simple, but very, very effective. In this first video, my objective very simply was to get you thinking about what you want, what success means to you, what you want from your business. Then I wanted you to really think about what your business is. It's not the process, however wonderful the process is, however passionate we are about it, however creative it is, however much we love it. That process is a process. It's a process you go through in order to make profit. That's your business. Now, when you do that, that's where the Salon profit formula comes in. 5 elements, very simple. Number 1, how much profit do I want from my business? Money, not a percentage. Why do I want it? Make sure that excites me. Now then I'm going to turn that into a sales target for the year and then into a weekly sales target, which will then impact on my salon drivers. I'm then going to move to step 2, which is to identify what needs to change in those salon drivers to achieve my target. The third step is I've got to be consistent with this. It's got to keep going, and therefore I've got to measure it in a simple, straightforward way. And then with the final 2 steps, we can make it happen. Get the team engaged because we actually know what we want them to be committed to now. And then finally, now we've got all of that information, we know exactly how to have laser-like focus on our marketing instead of this scattering effect that I'm seeing, particularly with social media nowadays, that doesn't have any focus. I hope you've enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you on the second video. We've got some really, really meaty content for you in the second video. I'm going to show you exactly how the one piece of paper works. I'm going to show you how the calculator works. I'm going to show you how you make the changes to your salon drivers to achieve your target. Okay, that's the end of video 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep an eye out for video 2 in your inbox in the next few days. I've been passionate about this industry since I first stepped into it as a 16-year-old. All these years later, I'm still here, and I'm still just as passionate about making things work, and I hope you share that passion with me. If you've enjoyed this video and it's been worthwhile for you, would you do me a massive favor? Like it and leave a comment. And in your comment, will you just answer a question for me? What does success mean to you? I think it'd be great to see all those comments. I'm going to read them all personally. Please leave them for me. Have fun, be fantastic, and I'll see you in video 2.